Okay, so.
Unfortunately, no. I have to run back and forth, you know.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
The bottom one, that's like,
But I gotta,
you can come back if you want to.
Oh, never mind.
but
Just
I just gotta make sure.
Okay, cool.
Can't write it.
Hey, guys.
okay. We're live. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself. Okay, Max.
Okay, no problem. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the kitchen with Chef Max today. I'm just passing out some of our ingredients to our live students.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go over what we are preparing today. Here, all right.
They can,
And here you go. Like,
you come in, you can get on this thing right here.
Okay.
You need a knife and a ham.
Hey, lady.
hi, how are you?
Is that it?
Yes, sir. All right, so if you did not get a set of seasoning, Paulette will come around and give that to you guys. So today we are making, let me adjust this so you guys can see my face. Okay. So today we are making fried yams and we are making pork chops, okay? This is one of my favorite dishes, especially during this time of the year. I really like to work with yams, pumpkin, and all other type of, holiday seasonal vegetables. So let's go over our ingredients. I don't have our meat out right now because it's getting clean. But if you guys look at your station, you have a gigantic yam. Okay, so it's really crazy because people call it like sweet potatoes. We make sweet potato pie, but really it's not a sweet potato. But you have a yam at your station. We're going to be getting a peeler. You guys can go to the drawer that says peeler and go ahead and grab you guys one out. That's one of your tools today. And we're going to be peeling this down and we're going to be frying these yams up. You guys also have a nice sprig of flat leaf parsley that is at your station, as well as 2 garlic cloves and a lemon. Okay, so we got a lot of different things going on. Our lemon is going to act as both our acid to break our pork chop down, just to make it a little bit more tender when we fry it up. We're actually going to pan sear, excuse me. We're not going to fry it. We're not breading it or anything.
You did that one goes like this.
No, not for that. Not the mandolin. Not for
That's
that.
it. That's it. That makes it easy.
It does, but when you're using
Max, we can't see you.
Sorry.
It's just your picture up. Oh, there you go.
so when you're using the mandolin, you want to make sure it's not with a vegetable that has a big root. So a yam is rooted and it could get stuck, and then that can cause like a lot of injury. So you're gonna have to kind of put your back into it today when we're cutting. I have more large chef knives in here, but they're serrated. So let's just try to rotate if we run out of knives, but I think we should be good. Okay, so let's go over all of our spices. You guys will be getting your spices in a minute after she finishes rinsing off the meat. So we're going to be using paprika. This is a half a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of garlic powder. We have 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, as well as 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. We have 1/2 a teaspoon of onion powder. And then for our yams, we're going to be using 1/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract, as well as 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, everybody has a block of butter on their station. You're going to be using half of that block, so you're going to split with your partner. Correct. Thank you. Okay, so Paulette's passing around our meat. You guys are going to be working with a bone-in, very thin cut portion of pork chop. Okay. This is one of my favorite meals. Like I said, it's just really flavorful. I usually cook this with the green beans. My kids like it with kale, but today we're just gonna do these 2 components and see how you guys like it. You can take it upstairs and accompany it with another vegetable, but let's get into it, okay? So I'm gonna switch my glove out just because I just touched that pork chop. And then you guys are gonna go ahead and start with your big bowl. Let's go ahead and rinse our yams off if you guys haven't rinsed them off yet. So last semester, I did a lot of stuff for you guys, but I want you guys to get more comfortable and use everything in the kitchen. So let's go ahead and rinse those off, get back to your station. You have 2 bowls there that we're gonna use to peel the yam inside, okay?
rinse it off first.
Uh-huh. Does everybody have a peeler? Yeah.
You just got to cut it there.
Oh, you can give it to somebody.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we're gonna be using the peeler.
Are we going to be using both parts of our yam or one?
You're gonna be using one. So the yams are very large, so you're gonna be splitting them with your partner. It's huge. So whenever you're dealing with rooted vegetables, you wanna make sure you give them a nice scrub because they're literally coming out of the ground. And I just find it sometimes like with cutting it in half, it makes it easier to work with, right? Because it's like you want to have control of your product. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut mine in half. Yes, same thing as last week, guys, when we were peeling down our potatoes. Let's go ahead and peel down this yam. And go in the direction going towards, exactly, towards the floor. Okay, not towards you. It's just easier, right? Like you're just going straight down, yeah. And then they have some peelers that have like, that little like groove at the end, and like people don't know that's to stick in and kind of get out those round little roots that are in there. So you kind of stick it in there like a melon baller, and you just like roll it around and it takes it right out.
Like the old school.
Exactly. So around Thanksgiving time, I'm pretty sure everybody like gets yams at Thanksgiving. So like traditionally, you would see these made with like the marshmallow flambe on top and the whole nine. But you know, that's a lot of sugar. And I don't like to cook with a lot of sugar. It's not my thing. If you guys have been watching me for a while, I don't cook with a lot of sugar and I don't cook with a lot of salt. It's just not necessary. So salt is really just here to enhance food. That's why you see people put salt in sweets because it brings out the flavor. It's not supposed to. How are you? I'm good. Sorry, guys. So it's really here to enhance food and its flavor. It's not to literally season your meal, okay?
I will be back.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I got mine peeled. And like I was telling you guys last week with your russet potatoes, your golden potatoes, and your red potatoes, when you peel them, you chance it, you know, it oxidizes, right? That's why we sit in the water. These will still oxidize, but at a slower rate, okay? Because of the sugar that's, you'll see sometimes when you press into it, it'll bleed like white, right? So it's a lot of starch and a lot of sugar in a sweet potato, which is why it's called a sweet potato or a yam. So anywho, guys, yeah. So just a little, you know, a little science on your potato. Okay, so you should have 2 bowls at your station. Let's get you guys set up with your seasoning, and you guys are just walked in.
That's nice.
Yes. You don't have what, babe? Okay, gotcha. I think this is the last one that was up here. Okay, guys. So if you just walked in and you don't have seasoning, I'm going to put them up here so you guys can go ahead and get a 2-ounce container and measure it out. I didn't know we were gonna have some. Everything is an 1/8 teaspoon with the exception of, excuse me, everything is 1 teaspoon with the exception of the salt and peppers at 1/8. And then these are quarters. So Paula, to get you guys set with your seasonings, okay? My 2 people in the front and 1 people in the back. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this potato. So we wanted to cut it as perpendicular as possible because we don't want them cooking at different, we don't want some pieces to cook before the other, okay? So I'm gonna start with my most narrow end down here, and I'm just gonna cut it like a 1/4 inch thick, okay? And like I told you guys, like, yes, you can use the mandolins with this, but it's a little bit more rooted. So when you get to the thicker part, it may be a little bit harder for you to cut down, okay? Need another knife? Yeah, I was about to ask that. Yeah.
We can't see you, Max. It's just your picture that's up.
I don't know why it keeps, I'm sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. I have my do not disturb on, but it's still disturbing me. Sorry, guys. Very good job. Lisa, right?
You said a quarter? Hi, Lisa. Can you see yours?
Yes. So I haven't really started. Lisa's doing a very good job, okay? So like I said, if you cut yours a little bit thinner or a little bit thicker, you just wanna make sure that you're cutting them as close as possible. You know, they're all the same, okay? Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. I don't have a lot of space, but maybe you can pair up with someone for today if they don't mind. We're kind of full. So we're just cutting it down, guys, about 1/8 of an inch thick. All right. No problem.
Right now,
All right, guys, I'm gonna wait for you guys to catch up. So we're just cutting our yams down, and then we're gonna season them up a little bit with some salt and some pepper, just to get them, some salt, not pepper, just to get them alive, okay? Now, we have a yam hater in the house. He's like, I don't wanna make the yam just a pork chop, right? Okay. Now I understand. So I'm gonna pass around a Ziploc bag, you guys, because I want our pork chops to get a little bit of love today. And we're gonna kind of marinate our pork chops while we are finishing up our yams, okay? So before we start frying it up, we will do that. This is our last seasoning for our pork chops. So everybody is doing this. My bad. This is, yeah, these are still sites too.
Did you wash it after? Oh, okay.
All right, you guys just about finished your sweet potatoes?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Everybody have their small bowl?
Yes.
All right.
This is the salt, right?
Yes. All right, guys, so now we are going to start seasoning our sweet potatoes with a little bit of our salt, just to bring them alive. And then they're gonna sit for a minute while we get onto this pork chop. So don't use all your salt, we're just gonna give it a little sprinkle. The rest is reserved for our pork chop.
We're doing seasoning on the pork chop.
Yes, we are gonna season our pork chop, yes.
So do we put our yams in the water?
No, so like, if you guys can hear my last step, the oxidation, it's not going to be as prominent in the sweet potato. So you don't have to put it in water because you're gonna cut it and we're gonna fry it.
Yeah, what do we want to do on this pork chop again?
We're getting ready to start seasoning it. I'm almost to that step.
Oh, so right now we're seasoning our yam.
Yes, ma'am.
Love it. So seasoning our yam.
Oh, a little bit of pepper too?
Yes, you just
Are we using a little bit of pepper as well for yam?
Reserve your pepper, no, just salt, okay, guys? So after you guys have your yam set aside, you guys are gonna start on your garlic clove. You have 1 garlic clove in front of you. This is gonna be part of your seasoning for your pork chop, okay? So when using the garlic clove and it's not peeled, you can just use the back of your knife or your hand to simply smash it down. It opens it right up, get a little frustration out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're just gonna rough chop and mince that down, and then we're gonna put it to the side. Okay, do you mind doing Ziplocs to get everybody?
Right now, we're just, we're opening our garlic clove. I just have one that one comes up, but I know we're just spinning this over. I think this should be, cause like the pieces that come in.
It's a little hot today. I'm burning up in the kitchen. I have more garlic cloves.
Should I do these are
When
good
we
size?
got to-
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, cool.
After we hit the garlic, so we chop it into the.
Yes, so you're gonna go ahead and mince it down. And then we're just gonna reserve it to the side for a second. Now you guys are getting a Ziploc that's gonna be being passed to you right now. All right. So after we have our garlic minced down, our next step is going to be to rough chop down our parsley, okay? Now you don't have to use all your sprigs. You can use some for garnish for your sweet potato and your meal when you finish. I'm going to use one sprig. I'm gonna take the leaves off and then I'm going to roll them so I can chiffonade them, okay? So when you chiffonade something, you're rolling it like a ribbon. This is usually like with basil, basil, parsley, anything that's kind of leafy like that, sage. And then you just want to go ahead and rough chop it down and mince it, okay? It's not the best knife I'm using today. All right, so since you're doing your pork chop, you want to follow these steps right here? Okay, so do you have your garlic and your parsley? You need parsley? Garlic and parsley mince? So you're gonna mince that down like everybody else is doing? Okay. So you guys are gonna set your pork, excuse me, not your pork chop, but your garlic and your parsley together. All right. Now, you guys have your pork chop in front of you? We're gonna slip that into that Ziploc bag. Yes, we do, ma'am. Here you go. Thank you, no problem. So I got my pork chop in here. This is just a quick marinade idea. I just like to have my meats kind of saturate together with the seasoning, so it's very flavorful. If you're marinating anything quick, this is the best way to do it. If you have time and you want to marinate something 24 hours, maybe you have more meat than this, use a gallon bag, take out all the air, add a little olive oil and your seasoning to it, and just go ahead and like give it some love and then put it in a refrigerator. The smallest window for your meat to take some flavor would be about 30 to 45 minutes. I'm not a big fan on quick. I'm not a fan of quick marinade, especially if it's like a barbecue or I'm doing a big event. Look at that up here, Colin. So yeah, we needed that big pot, and I was looking for it. And I couldn't
That's
find-
why, I could put gumbo in here on
Is
Max,
that
the
yours?
camera's
Yeah.
off.
Okay, because I was gonna use it today.
Yes.
Oh, what's talking? So anywho,
Wait, you want to put our
It's
pork chop in our
crazy.
bag, right?
yes, so pork chop into the bag. Then we're gonna put our garlic and our parsley straight into the Ziploc with it, okay? Yes, 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 yes. Then Paulette came around with some olive oil. Did you guys get olive oil? I got you. You guys, I'll pass it around. You guys, yes. You're going to use, you're gonna put a little love inside of here. Okay, not too much, just a little bit. Then we are going to add our dry seasoning, which is our paprika. Okay, our onion powder. garlic powder, and our pepper, yes. And then you guys receive the pork rub seasoning, okay? This is just to give a little kick to our pork chop. Now you do want to make sure that your parsley leaves are as fine as possible because you don't want it to burn, right? It's just an aromatic for it to get some flavor. So after you have all your seasonings in there, make sure you're squeezing the air out your bag. Yes, ma'am. So you know that all your savory seasonings are for your pork chop, and all of our sweet seasonings, our brown sugar, our butter, our vanilla, that's gonna be for our yams, okay?
This for the yam.
Correct.
What about all of the rest of the salt?
Yes, ma'am. The salt goes right on in with the pork chop. Okay. So your pork chop should be a nice little like burgundy-ish, you know. Yes, sir. Correct. Mm-hmm.
What about this? You tell
So, I think we have a permanent marker, but if not, I want everybody to pick a little situation inside of the refrigerator because we don't want to leave our meat out, okay? So you guys, there's a tray right behind you guys, and it says your refrigerator. Go ahead and put your pork chop in there. Make sure you know it's yours. There's a pin right here. I don't have a marker in here because there's, well, I have dry erase markers. That's not gonna be job, right? Yeah. Let me get you guys one. You need a permanent marker? You go get my permanent. All right, here's the Sharpie. You guys go ahead and label your name. I'll start right here. And then go ahead and put your pork chop in there. Where's Johnny Pastrami? Don't tell him I called him that, okay? So we're gonna add this lemon to our cooking process with our pork chop, okay? So now everybody has a lemon, I will cut. The Sharpie is right there, the gentleman to your right has it. He's getting ready to label. All right, now we're gonna get on to some cooking. So I have a nice skillet. Okay, you want to make sure you're working with at least a 10 or 12-inch skillet when you're making your yams, okay? Because we're gonna move them around and they gotta have some way to steam so they can get nice and tender, okay?
So what about the lemon? You said not right now?
Not right now.
Okay, good.
Now, because our pork chop is thin, it's gonna be tender. Now, if you're using a bigger cut of meat, you may want to use your lemon as a tenderizer, but we're gonna just give it a nice squirt while it's cooking to give it some of that citrus flavor, okay?
Okay, we don't have any.
I got you. You guys go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, so we got skillets over there. You guys are gonna reserve your cast iron skillet for your pork chop. This cast iron skillet right here, they're not messed up. I'm gonna get you guys some oil and a towel. I'm just gonna scrub them out really good, okay? Just kind of love, okay? For the babies in here. Yes, they're very seasoned. Okay, so here's a towel right here for you to rub your skillet out. You can get a little bit of oil and then you drop it in here. I'm just gonna rub this rest out really good. Okay, so I have put oil in everybody's cast iron right here. If it's not another cast iron available for the amount of students, you guys are more than welcome to use a different skillet. It's okay, I'm gonna stay there. I know. Sure. All right, guys, so we are gonna be using a cast iron skillet. Yes, that's gonna be your stove over there. There's some other skillets available right there. This is for our pork chop, and then for our sweet potatoes, we're gonna be using, you can either use a non-stick skillet. If you don't have a non-stick skillet, it's not a big deal because we're gonna be using some butter. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this started. So we're gonna be putting down a little bit of oil in our skillet. We're gonna get that on medium high. I would say between 5 and 4, 4 and 5, not 5 and 4. Now I do know that 4 comes from 5. That's what I do.
We're using regular pans right now or the cast iron?
Using regular pans right now. The cast iron is for our pork chop. All right, so that side of my stove isn't working, so I'm gonna move the camera so you guys can see. Sorry about that. All right, so I have the pan with about 2 ounces of olive oil in it. We're just gonna get that up to medium heat, and then we're gonna drop in our yams and start frying them, okay? So go ahead and put your blowers above your stove on, guys, to 2. Here, you guys can still hear me, right? Between 4 and 5. So guys, I just thought of it about our cooking time. Let's go ahead and cut these into half moons, just so to cook a little bit faster, okay? I saw that some of you guys did cut yours like that, so that was kind of a good idea. Yes. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start adding my potatoes to my pan. Okay. You definitely hear a nice little fry action going on. I'm just cutting them in half moons, guys, just for time, just to make sure that your pork chop? Not yet. I should still make it. Okay, guys, so you're gonna need a large spoon or spatula. Thank you. So we're just dropping our yams. They're cooking. They got that bit. So you guys, your butter is gonna be used almost like a sauce, right? That's gonna kind of cover our yams, but we want to get them halfway cooked. So this process, you're gonna kind of scorch them because they have sugar in it. They're gonna definitely turn brown very quick. So when you start to notice them getting like a nice crusty caramelization on the top, we want to lower our fire between 3 and 4, okay? Because then we're gonna cut the outside and not cut the inside, and it's not gonna be nice and soft, okay? So just be mindful. This is a process. Okay, okay. How y'all doing over here? For our lemon guys. Awesome. Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you guys an example of my sweet potatoes. They're starting to get brown. Okay. So this is the point where you want to make sure the other side looks like that, and then you want to lower the fire. Okay. Tastes so good. You don't have to really add the marshmallow on top. It's like a little extra for Thanksgiving, but if you're used to eating sweet potatoes throughout the year, in my opinion, this is the healthiest way to eat them. Well, not the healthiest way, but if you want to add a little bit of sugar, you know, the brown sugar is a little bit lighter than your regular. So another thing, when you're cooking with sugar, it burns, right? That's just what it is. So we have to definitely be mindful when we add in our sugar to our butter and our pan. We have to lower the heat. No, you have a question? So I'm gonna give it about 2 more minutes until we add our butter. We're gonna be adding 4 tablespoons of butter, which is about 4 ounces, which is half a cup. Okay, guys? So they're looking nice and brown, guys. This is trying to get both sides to get that caramelization. You may have to take your hand or some tongs or fork and flip them. But you just want to make sure that they're getting cooked thoroughly, okay? So another thing, the salt that we put on top of the sweet potatoes are helping break it down to make it softer, or to say, you know, tenderness quicker. I love that shirt, girl. My whole Chris top that shirt. All right, guys. So like I said, we're gonna create like a slurry type situation for our butter type sauce, okay? So let's go ahead. If you're at your station, most of your butter should be marked with the amount of tablespoons on the back, so you're able to put that with your partner. So we're gonna use, like I said, 4 tablespoons, which is half of this stick, okay? All right. So you're gonna literally just drop in your butter and like so like that. That's trademark. All right. So my butters are dancing. Okay. I like butter. But I eat it. It's not like I don't do it all the time. Okay. So we're gonna add in our cinnamon. It's feeling like Thanksgiving in the morning. That's my favorite part of Thanksgiving. Like I like to smell all of it, you know, like it's holiday time. We do it big in our family. We have like 8 5 meals on the table. It's crazy. No. Yes. We're gonna go in with our vanilla. Our vanilla is another sweetener. It's not gonna be a yam without a vanilla extract. Okay. Then we're gonna add in our brown sugar. Now you want some. Okay. So we added all of the ingredients in. We're gonna start mixing it around. And like I said, this is a quick version of some big yams. Okay. So this is gonna create like a brownish sauce. If it's turning black, you're burning it. Turn down your fire back there a little bit, Lisa, because you're adding in your sugar. You don't want it to scorch. Y'all smell me, y'all. All right. So we want to continue to break down our sugar and vary it with the butter and make sure all of our potatoes are getting coated in the sugary liquid. Okay. Now I'm gonna lower my fire because, like I said, the sugar it will burn. Okay, so we're gonna lower it all the way low. The brown sugar. Okay. Yes, cinnamon, vanilla, brown sugar, and butter. It's almost like making a cake. All right, guys. So the key to knowing that your sweet potatoes are finished or almost done, you can simply just use your knife, your spoon, and then just if it's not going up, you might just perfect and cut right in half, okay? Because you don't want them mushy. We're not making sweet potato puree. We're making sweet potatoes, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and cut mine off. Let's put this to the side. And now my concentration is gonna be on my pork chop. So I'm gonna wait for you guys to catch up a little bit and then we'll get puree on the pork chop. Now since our pork chops are really thin, they're gonna cook very quickly. So don't worry about that here. You can go on. Here you go. Good. Does everybody else get a spoon? Anybody else? The day is here, baby.
Hi, you good? Why?
It's separated. All right, guys, so we're getting ready to start the pork chop. I'm just cleaning my hands up a little bit and getting my station a little clean so I can get this pork chop cooked. So like I said, this meal like really goes well with like sauteed spinach or sauteed kale. It's like or green beans is really good. I'm definitely gonna accompany it with the green vegetable. Okay. Okay, whose potatoes are in the back? You guys make sure you keep an eye because we have sugar in there and that sugar cooks very quickly. All right, like tea. All right. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and start moving on with the pork chop. If you're still on your sweet potatoes, let's go ahead and get them saturated in our butter sauce. Put it on both so that we can move on to the last part of the potato. All right. All right. Let's go. Smells so good. It does smell really good in here. All right, so this is what you've been waiting for. We are on pork chop. So I'm gonna get my skillet already nice and heated between 5 and 6. When we're working with a cast iron skillet, the whole purpose of it is to make sure you're getting a nice color on your meat. Okay? So when I tend to marinate meat, if I'm using something that's other than the oil, if I'm using the vinegar, if I'm using the juice, lime juice, citrus, no matter what, you're gonna want to kind of drain some of that liquid off of the meat before you sear it. If not, the barrier between your pan and the oil and that meat is gonna create a steam factor, okay? Yes, because we want to make sure we get it nice and hot. We're gonna lower it again between 4 and 5 when we start. Yes. Okay, guys. Just a little sign. So when you are marinating your meat and you're using any type of citrus juice or vinegar, wine, whatever the case may be, when you're taking it out of that liquid to go ahead and sear, you want to make sure you're letting it drip to get most of that moisture off. Sometimes you can use a paper towel, but you don't want to get the actual seasoning off. You just want some of that moisture to come off. You don't want it to create a barrier of steam. You want to make sure it's actually dry heat to the protein so that it's caramelizing. Okay? Thank you. Like Thanksgiving, huh? Oh. All right, y'all. So we're gonna add a little bit of oil that you have left over from searing off your potatoes. We're gonna add that to your skillet. Make sure that it's dancing a little bit, meaning that it's getting nice and hot. I'm gonna give you guys a quarter of a lemon. If you already have a lemon at your station, at this time you're gonna go ahead and cut it into your quarter wedge. And this is for Lisa and the gentleman in the front. All right, y'all. Okay. So my pan is just done nice and hot. My oil is like nice and translucent. You want to make sure it's hot. I'm real hot. I just want pork chop. Okay. But those are going out today. Okay, so another thing, guys, when you are taking your protein out, before you cook it, like since we just put it in there, it's not like super ice cold, but you never want to sear anything when it's super like straight out the refrigerator. Give it some time to get adjusted to the room temperature. Not like you want it to take over that temp, but you just don't want to take it out the refrigerator and be like, you know what I mean? So, okay, we're at that point now. They're in clear line. I'm gonna move it between 4 and 5. Do we have any forks behind you in that drawer? Like metal forks? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I think I have enough metal forks for you guys to use versus the tongs. So go ahead and flip your meat, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my. Now, another good seasoning to add to your pork chop that you could have done today is a little bit of mustard or mustard seed. I really like it. I think you not. You don't know how much mustard you can get on there. Okay, so my fire is extremely high, but you want it that way, okay? Yeah. No, we're not frying them like that. We're dancing. All right. So this is how our finished marinade pork chop looks like, right? Nice and seasoned. I'm gonna just quickly lay this in our skillet. What is it? So you guys should definitely hear this nice sizzle sound. You want to get a little pressure to the middle. Pork chops have a tendency to like flip up in the middle. I don't know why it does that. It's that bubble. So you want to make sure that when you put it down to sear, that you press down on the center. Not too much, but just enough, okay? And then you definitely want to discard of your bag right away so we don't get any cross contamination. Okay. So once we get a good sear on both sides, we're gonna let it finish off with a quarter of the lemon juice, okay? Yes. It's important during the caramelization process that you do not move or disturb your meat, okay? So once you lay it down and sear, do not take it up. Let it sear down for that 3 to 4 minutes before you decide to turn it over and do the process on the other side. All right, guys, all right. It's smelling great in here. It smells out there, y'all. Container done for you guys. Put it in the class. Okay, so I'm gonna check on my pork chop. Just a little corner. Another way to show that the bottom is cooking and it's getting a nice sear, so you get that bone bleeding at the top, so you know that it's cooking. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and flip mine to see how nice caramelized it looks. Amazing. Okay, so once you turn it on that other side and get that sear for 1 minute, we're gonna lower the temperature between 2 and 3. Okay, we do not want to burn our meat. We don't want to scorch it. We want it to be nice and caramelized, not burnt. Okay. Yes, Lord. So just searing our pork chop is the last step. I'm gonna get a plate so I can show y'all how great this looks. The lemon almost fell out here. I thought it was all all right, now we're getting to our lemon, all right? Make sure your pork chop is nice and seared. Mine looks good on the other side. I'm gonna get my lemon. Which now be careful when you add your citrus because you're gonna get a little bit of pushback with the heat. It's gonna pop a little bit, okay? I want mine to get inside the juicer, dog. Like put it inside the juicer, okay? Yes, see? Put it directly on top. You can if you would like, and you can get both sides of the lemon juice. That's not a problem. All right, so when you're cooking pork, the temperature that you can serve pork at, in which is medium, is 155. Not a lot of people like to eat their pork like that. They want it dead. I'm with you. So your temperature would be at 165. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass around a thermometer for each station. Always want to make sure that you are checking the temperature of all your poultry. With beef, the same thing, especially if you're trying to monitor what type of temperature you want to cook to. I like medium well. Nah, I'm lying. I like medium. My husband likes medium well, but kill it. But yeah, we always want to make sure that we are probing and checking, okay? Guys, make sure you guys are moving around in the kitchen, stay behind you, so everybody's aware. Because we're working with a lot of heat stuff today. I'm gonna give you guys a monitor, okay? Okay, I'm putting your own twist on things. Nice. All right, here's my handy dandy notebook. My thermometer. I'm gonna start it over, okay? You always want to read things at Fahrenheit. You can read at Celsius if you don't read it. I know. And so I'm going to grade it, turn it off. Okay. And then that's when you take it out, all right? So without your first off, you take it out. And then, I guess, or you can lift it up get it down. We're finished with our bill. I'm finished. Tomorrow, sorry about that. The other one? All right, so let me get my sweet potatoes. Okay. Y'all, I know y'all love it. Where's that? I'm gonna go here.
Oh.
All right, guys, look at that. Okay, 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 okay.
This is good.
Oh, yes. Now you want to drain some of the fat off of your potatoes. Thank you, Miss Lisa. All right, guys, so that's our meal for today. We got our fried sweet potatoes, a quick fried sweet potatoes, and then we have our nice herb pork chop. Okay, guys, so I hope you guys enjoy this tomorrow. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Any questions? Hello?
No, ma'am. I think we're all good. Thank
Any
you, Max.
questions?
No. Can you hear me?
All right,
Hello?
guys. See you next week.